Hello, good morning, viewers. If you are new to the channel, kindly like, share, subscribe, and please do not forget to hit the notification bell. The Waymaker. We are looking at the forthcoming celebration of Biafra heroes. Of course, it has been slated for 30th, and we understand that at a point in the heat of the agitation for the sovereign state of Biafra, even the Senate president said that the way it is, that even governors in the Southeast now obey Simon Ekpa. And we are seeing a situation where the governors are kicking, but ultimately I know that the people, especially Biafrans, will be willing and ready to make that day a big day celebration and a remembrance of their fallen heroes. How do you see this?
Thank you so much for having me. Celebrating the fallen heroes in the Biafra land is not something that is bad. If we can observe June 12th in Waterpool under Abiola as a democracy, there's nothing wrong in celebrating the fallen heroes in Biafra land. Don't forget that in Biafra land, these fallen heroes are people who have been killed under the Biafra war. Millions of Igbos were killed. And as such, celebrating them for the fight they fought for liberation of their people, for the suffering, for the marginalization of Nigerians, marginalizing them, it is not bad to me. But where it's bad to me is that where the governor of the Southeast, who are being imposed in one way or the other to the people of the Southeast, are kicking against this, is what is baffling, because you come to think of it. One day of celebrating the heroes will not stop the economy of the Southeast. One day of celebrating the heroes will not make you not to make the profit you make the week or for the month. Let's start this now. Samuel Ekpa, NNAMDI KANU is the problem of the Southeast. Look at it this way: if Samuel Ekpa, who is far as Finland, is controlling what is happening in Southeast, that means that to tell you that the Southeast governor is supposed to cover their face in shame. They have failed their primary responsibility. That means they are not more defending the people; they are defending themselves and their family. Because Samuel Ekpa has become a threat to the governor of Southeast. Oh, let's kidnap Samuel Ekpa. Let's silence Samuel Ekpa. Ever since Samuel Ekpa has been silent not to communicate with Biafra, one will emerge that after Samuel Ekpa is being stopped not to communicate with Biafra, there will be peace in Biafra land. They will not be killing. But as I talk to you, right from the time Samuel Ekpa has been stopped not to communicate with Biafra land, the killing in Biafra land have taken another dimension, in the sense that the Fulani herdsmen now have the full audacity to enter into the Biafra land to kill, to kidnap, to fight people. Not quite long, we saw a video that went viral of Enugu women. They came out in number, they protest about the brutality of the Fulani herdsmen, by their husbands, raping their daughters, using their stick to molest their women. Up to this very moment, the governor of Enugu State, the Peter Mba, have not made any arrests, have not made anything about it. I did now look as if that these governors are directly being positioned in that place to cover the mess of this Fulani herdsmen. That's why we are shocked. And I came into conclusions that I came into conclusion as my own personal opinion that not everybody who bear Igbo name that are Igbos. There are some of them that are bearing Igbo, but they are not Igbo. Don't forget that during the Biafra war, the Fulani soldiers, they went into Biafra land to commit havoc, to kill people, to buy Biafra. So many of them used that opportunity to pregnant Igbo women. And some of them that pregnanted Igbo women, the blood of Fulanis are still running in those Igbos. They might be bearing Chief, they might be bearing Emeka, they might be bearing Okadigbo, but they are Fulani. Because in Igbo traditions, once you pregnanted a woman without paying the due process, they will allow the child to bear the name of the mother's family. And that's what you are seeing in Biafra land.
Okay, let us consider this unconfirmed report that have it that the Fulani are threatening to pull out of Nigeria. Remember all the difficulties, all the handling, arresting, prosecution, those agitating to pull out of Nigeria from the ashes of Biafra is facing. Do you think this report that Fulani is threatening to pull out of Nigeria, though it's unconfirmed anyway, do you think the government will harm them the way they harm Biafrans?
As far as I don't think Nigeria government will take it serious, because Fulani, they don't have a place in Nigeria. Come to think of it, where is the originated place that is designed for the Fulanis? If you talk about the Hausas who want to pull out of Nigeria, then we cannot talk. Fulani don't have any position. These are people that came from Sahel, different parts of Africa, to come and sojourn in Nigeria. But unfortunately, they use religion to enter Hausa and they penetrate into Hausa. As we speak to them now, nobody is hearing any Hausa. NNAMDI KANU once said that Anything that about Biafra now, anything about Hausa now is only their language. Every other thing has been collected by the Fulani in terms of their kingship, in terms of political district. Fulani is now everywhere. That's why they now feed the audacity. Oh, we are now in charge. We are all. No, we don't recognize Fulani. I'm not saying they are not tribe. Most of them, they came from Niger, they come from Mali, they come from Burkina Faso. All we know before, we have three, we have Wazobia, we have the Hausa, we have the Yoruba, we have the Igbo. The Hausa is what they represent, not Fulani. If you are telling me that Fulani want to go, where are they before? Are they part of Nigeria? The people we know in Nigeria before is Hausa, Yoruba, and Igbo. We don't know Fulani. It is not because they have used religion to enter into Hausa, collect everything that belongs to Hausa. They now hold Hausa. Come to think of it, before the last president, President Buhari, he told us that the Fulani men who are killing people in Nigeria, they are not Fulani, they are not Nigeria Fulani. Now, how do we differentiate the Nigeria Fulani from the Fulani that are not Nigeria? That's where to come to think of it. Even the Buhari himself, fingers have been pointing at Buhari, that Buhari is not Nigeria. Buhari is from Niger. That's why most of them, they will still find their ancestral home to Niger land, to Burkina Faso, to Mali, to different places in Africa. So for me, if you want to talk, if you say Yoruba want to go on their own, I can take it serious. If you say Igbo want to go their own, I will take it serious. If you tell Hausa want to go there, I will take it. But telling me Fulani say they want to go, they are making mockery of Nigeria. Is it because of the Nigerian government now allow people to move? That's what I'm telling you. Look at Babangida. Babangida is a Yoruba man. But today he went to the north in Mina to claim north. This Tinubu that is the president today, where is Tinubu from? Because of the Yorubas, I say Tinubu is Yoruba. Go and check the history of Tinubu and know where Tinubu is from. But if you believe Nigerian politicians, you are on your own. Don't believe in any Nigerian politicians. That is it. So,
but someone like Bala Mohammed, the current governor of Bauchi State, said about 70% of people in Bauchi are Fulani.
And that's what I'm telling you, the Fulani, they are coming to take over. You can see what they are trying to do in Benin now. They are trying to dominate everywhere. That's why they come to Fulani. In the place where I come from, the Middle Belt, they fight people in Benue, they keep people in Plateau State. And we are calling the federal government, the federal government feel that they don't have the power to stop these people. Let them give us the right to confront these people. Thank God that the DSS chairman have said it, that if we should rise up and defend ourselves. Now look at what they are doing. What they do in Benue now, they will come to a community, they will kill the people, they will drop everybody, they will occupy the place. That's how they do to occupy the place. And these are the same thing they did in Kwara State. Today they now fed that the whole Kwara. That's why Middle Belt must not give any land as a Ruga.
Okay, let me take your attention to Mate in a military base in Borno State, where it is reported that insurgents, particularly Boko Haram, burned down some vehicles in that military formation. Of course, they took some military personnel into captivity. One was thinking that the issue of Boko Haram has come down. They are seeing this renewed hostility. You got to show that Nigeria is not safe.
Nigeria is not safe. Is that these are the problems we are having from the north. And that's why I keep saying it before the general election that there are two things you need to do. Whoever that is the president, whether Obi become the president, Atiku, or this grab around, Emiloko, that is now a president now. That if you don't do these two things, they will fail. And that's why you see now the situation of Nigeria. Let me tell you, the problem we are having now, you restructure this country or divide this country, let everybody go on their own way. Nigeria cannot defeat the insurgency. Well, how can you defend it? You will see they say, repentant Boko Haram, they will carry them, they will give them amnesty, betray them, before you know, they will push them in Nigeria army, push them in Nigeria. How can you defend insecurity in that manner? You cannot defend it.
As at the time
you cannot defeat.
Okay, as I thought we were talking about the killings in Benue, because we understand that a full vehicle that was traveling, the people were entered into the bush, into the forest. The dust of that have not settled. We are now seeing a military formation, a military base being overrun by insurgents. Our military, are they no longer having the capacity to do all this?
No, the fact is that the Nigerian military, they've overstressed, they are overwhelmed. And it still goes to what I'm telling you. Most of the informants that are giving this Boko Haram informants, they are still from all those repentant Boko Haram. Take me to anywhere, we tell you. Most of them that have been recruited as, oh, we are repentant Boko Haram, they disguise themselves to be repentant. They are still the one giving the information, oh, Nigerians army are coming so time. Nigerians coming in this way. They will now hold ambush against Nigerian army. Before you know, they will eliminate Nigerian armies. Until Nigerian government stop this thing, there's nothing like repentant Boko Haram. A terrorist is a terrorist. A man who have killed somebody's father, killed his mother, destroyed Nigerian property, you are telling him it's a repentant Boko Haram. Why are you only Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, for goodness sake? And Nigeria government need to compensate Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for holding him lawful. Tell me the same Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have committed that these Fulani men who are moving from one region to another to have not done. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have not lived his territory. It's in his territory, which is the south. He's protecting his people. Oh, why did he form ESM? Why did he bring in Radio Biafra? Excuse me, if you want to arrest Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, go arrest the DSS boss Ajayi, who told Nigeria that we should rise up and defend ourselves. All Mazi Nnamdi Kanu do is to defend his people. See, the governors, elected governors who supposed to their primary duty to defend the people, they failed to do so. And Mazi Nnamdi came out and they formed ESM. Come to think of it, in Southwest here, they form Amoteco. Amoteco is uniform in the whole state of the Southwest. They are confronting the Fulani herdsmen. They are winning the war. In Southeast, did they have any security that is uniform to Southeast? No. That's why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu came out and organized the ESM. And you see, as of the time when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu organized them, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was active. The ESM, they were on ground. The ESM was doing the work. You hardly hear that Fulani men kidnap anybody in the Southeast. You hardly hear that the Fulani men, they are in the bush of the Southeast. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. Oh, why did he form Radio Biafra? He formed Radio Biafra because he formed Radio Biafra to communicate with Biafra. Is Arewa don't have radio to communicate with their people? Is Radio Biafra not registered in Nigeria? Is it not registered in UK? So for me, I keep saying the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has no place to answer. They should release the young man. Let the young man go.
Okay, this is a good place to let you go. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Pastor Matthew, for having you on this channel this morning. It is reported in the newspaper today this morning that Nigerian armies were killed by Boko Haram yesterday. We can see that Nigerian army have channeled their energy in Biafrans May 30th, that the fallen heroes should not be celebrated. Instead of them to channel their energy on this Boko Haram, who have took it upon themselves to make the north a desolate land. What do you have to say about this issue? And carrying most of them as a repentant Boko Haram, do you think is the right solution for Nigeria to defeat the insurgency in Nigeria?
Let me start by telling you that there's nothing like repentant Boko Haram. There's nothing like repentant bandits. It's just a deceit, or perhaps the government do not know what is happening. Someone like Malam Nasir El-Rufai, the former governor of Kaduna State, made it very clear that the only Boko Haram that have repented is one that have died. That in his own ideology, the best treatment for the bandits is to send them to their creator, who have the ultimate power to judge them. But in my own understanding, I understand that there's nothing like repentant Boko Haram. There's nothing like repentant bandits. Of course, that best explains the reason we are seeing resurgence of insurgency in almost anywhere, everywhere in the northeast. We saw what happened in Mate base in Borno State, where Boko Haram was reported to have burned down some operational vehicles of the military. Even if the military is saying that they are unserviceable vehicles, we saw what is happening in some parts of Zamfara, where Toji Bello have been wreaking havoc. And for me, talking about the remembrance of the fallen heroes of Biafra, I think it has to do with what the people have decided to do. Because they are talking about civil disobedience. If the people have decided that we are going to stay back in our homes to honor the fallen heroes, I don't think the government or the army have what it takes to force them to come out. Don't forget that the Senate president at the time made it very clear that even the governors in the southeast now obey Samuel Ekpa. Because Samuel Ekpa will issue an order, stay at home. You find out that the whole street in all the southeastern part of the country and in some south part of the country will be deserted. And the government or the governors will have no option than to stay out of work, because no civil servant will be available to attend to the business of the day. So my own understanding is that, one, the government should realize that we are dealing with a formidable force, talking about insurgents, that it is not a bread and butter thing, that you must be decisive in dealing with them. Talking about the essence of Fulani herdsmen, I understand that anywhere you see them operate the same thing, whether in Mali, whether in Burkina Faso, whether in Niger. Of course, we understand that these are people who came from Senegambia, talking about Senegal and Gambia in sometime 14th and 15th century. And in 19th century, they successfully established a caliphate in Nigeria. Talking about the Sokoto Caliphate, which is equally seen as the Fulani Empire. And as we speak, the Fulani have taken over every governance space in the northern part of the country. So they are succeeded in conquering, subduing, and subjugating the average Hausa man. It is not reason we are seeing Hausa people speaking up, talking about that it is. I even saw a trending video where an Hausa man is saying that it is high time they start coming out to start renouncing the Fulani publicly. But according to him, they are even more closer and have better identity with Igbos than they have with the Fulani. But unfortunately, the Fulani now control their political class, they control their traditional institutions, and I don't think there's anything they can do about it for now. So the only people that can even be thinking of how to liberate themselves in the southern part of the country, that is when the president shows willpower and courage to lead the way.
Pastor Matthew, let me ask you this question. Former President Buhari said that he is not a Nigerian Fulani that have been killing all over the country. Even the governor of Benue, Reverend Alai, something like that, came on national television and also said that the people who are coming to kill in Benue are Fulani from Mali. How do we now differentiate between Mali Fulanis, Fulani coming from different countries, than the Nigerian Fulani?
I don't think it's the responsibility of ordinary Nigerians to start differentiating who is the real Fulani and who is the killer herdsman. I think it behoves of the government to do that. I understand that in Taraba, a monarch made it very clear that the Fulani should vacate their communities. I will say recently in Benue, where the youth will rise and say we want to fumigate our forests, our bushes, that the Fulani should leave. And the reason is not far-fetched. It's because of the excesses and hard-handedness on the part of the Fulanis that we are seeing all this. So when it comes to who to identify the Fulani, or rather the foreign Fulani, I think it behoves of the government. I understand what I have put up borders and excuse the government always gives, but that excuse is not justified to allow the Fulani infiltrate into Nigeria and wreak all this manner of havoc. The government should think out of the box, perhaps use technology to know who is entering into Nigerian territory at any point as a way of identifying and dealing with this threat. So pushing it to the citizens, or rather how to identify the bandits or foreign Fulanis, I think that should be purely rest with the government.
Okay, this week we heard that out of the 36 governors in Nigeria, 35 of them have unanimously agreed that state policing is the way forward in Nigeria. Do you think that Bola Ahmed Tinubu will succumb and allow state policing to take place in his time?
I will encourage the Tinubu to give it a thought, because for me, there's need to regime the security architecture. And in regiming the security architecture, state police is one of the best ways to address it. Because a governor cannot just be going by the name of the governor and chief security officer of their respective states. They should be allowed to parade some level of security powers. They should be some level of security responsibility, because all crime is local. And if all crime is local, you don't expect somebody from Kaduna to come to Lagos as a security personnel and measure well. So you needed somebody in that vicinity who knows the terrain, who knows how to navigate the area to address it. So to that extent, if you come about state police and you arm them, I think it will address it to a reasonable extent. That is why we are saying that a security outfit like Amateku should be empowered to bear arms to the level of having capacity to confront this issue of banditry we are seeing making havoc in every part of the world, in every part of the country. I saw a video of a community in Delta State where the community have to contribute 10 million naira to go and pay ransom to secure the release of their loved ones who were kidnapped by bandits or rather Fulani militias. And it's worrisome, and it's because in most cases where such money is not contributed, the bandits end up killing the victims. So it is a way to go if you are talking about state police. If you are talking about state security arrangement like Amateku, is the way to go. But the only difference is that they should be armed to confront this monster. Don't forget that the current Director General of DSS, Mr. Ajayi, I salute his courage. He made it very clear recently that communities should be the first line of defense when it comes to invasion. He gave instances in the past where the communities did not successfully repel invaders. So I think it's the way to go. I understand that under Muhammadu Buhari, it was difficult for the state security arrangement to be armed. And the reason is not far-fetched, because the Office of National Security Advisor have the power, or rather is empowered to give an extra certificate to security agencies or even individual to bear arm at that level. But now that a Tinubu is there, a Southwesterner, a Southerner, I think it behoves on him to do things differently as a way of synergizing with the state governors, state governments, to empower Abateku and any other security arrangement at that level to be able to confront this monster.
Before I will let you go, on a final note, we are hearing this morning that even the Fulanis have said they want to declare that they want to go on their own. Does Fulani have a land in Nigeria? What is your take about them? Of saying them too, they are not happy to belong to this country. They want to go on their own.
I think that is true. We should encourage them to go. I understand that they came from Senegambia. They came from Senegal and Gambia in Nigeria in sometime 14th, 15th century. And it's surprising that even in Senegal, where they come from, their population there is just 5 million. In Gambia, there are just about 420,000 people. But in Nigeria, there are already 15 million. So if they say they want to go, I think we should clap for them. We should encourage them to do so that we can have peace. But I don't think they will want to go because the way it is, the whole Fulani globally seems to be converging in Nigeria. As we speak, they have completely subjugated the Hausa man in the north. In the north, all the available stew, when it comes to traditional institution, they are the one occupying it. The political class, they are already occupying it. In North Africa Republic, yes, in Central African Republic, in sometime 2016, the people rose and told them that they have overstayed their welcome. And the reason is not far-fetched because in spite of using their pastoralist activities to take over spaces in the region, they already started taking over the political space. So people rose and said, no, you have overstayed your welcome, you should leave. So the same is applicable to this part of the world, but if they are the ones saying they want to leave, I think we should encourage them to leave.
Thank you so much for having you on this channel.
Thank you for having me.